Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic. And welcome back to another YouTube channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have y'all back together again. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another celebration of cinema review. And this time we're doing it for the Disney animated feature film, Mulan, directed by Tony Bancroft and so many other people. Technically the anniversary for this film was yesterday, back on June 5th, Monday, but you know, I decided to stay home today, so unfortunately I did not get it done in time, but you're getting it today. And then later on today, you're getting a celebration of cinema review for the first two Kung Fu Panda films, since today is the anniversary of the first Kung Fu Panda film, the 15th anniversary, so stay tuned for that. But before we get into this, I just want to say, I think Mulan is a very great film. It's one of those Disney films that, like, I think one of the best things about this is really the one that really defines why the Renaissance is so great. Because, you know, they have, of course, amazing classics with, like, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King. So many great movies in this era. But Mulan is the one where I'm like, I look back at all these films and it's just like, we get another great classic. And this is just another one of those great movies. So I'm excited to talk about this movie. It's so incredibly rewatchable. So let's just go ahead and get started talking about it. So the first thing we gotta talk about here is, of course, the story. Of course, I love to talk. The best movies have the best story. Because if you're not interested into the story and you don't think that's good, then why are you watching the movie? Just get out of here. But when it comes to this film, the story is great. As you start the movie, it begins where and I love the way that Tony Bancroft was able to establish this movie, where from the very beginning you establish that this is a war film, and we have our threats, which are the Huns, led by this guy. I actually forgot his name. The villain is pretty forgettable, but like I said, in these reviews, we don't talk about the negatives, we only talk about the good. But the villain, we establish who the villains are, which are the Huns. But then we get the introduction of Mulan and the Fa family. And there's something interesting about them where, with Mulan, she's trying to bring honor to her family. And that's, I think this is an interesting story, as this is stuff we explore in Chinese culture, movies, that Chinese boys and girls always are bringing honor to, or they're bringing dishonor to their families. And I think that is something that lies throughout all of Chinese culture. And when you watch it in this movie, it's like you feel that. And it really exemplifies throughout Mulan's character, which we'll talk about when we get onto the character side of things. But that's the great part, as, you know, she's trying to bring honor to her family, but she kind of messes up in the end, and her family are trying to make her something she doesn't really want to be. And then you also establish that her father, when all the people try to get the soldiers to come into the army, you realize her father was a veteran in the Chinese army. And the way Mulan thinks, she's like, he can't do this. He served his stuff in the army well. He's limping. How are you going to send him to the army if he's limping? He's going to get killed. He can't do that. And like, you take that premise of this girl takes her father's place in the army and goes. Just a simple plot ever you could do. Any movie could do this. But because it's Disney, and the way the score plays, and which we'll talk about in a little bit with the score and the music, it plays it like something so serious, so powerful, that it works and you love it. And like when she's transforming into the man and putting on the gear and rides off to go to the army, it's powerful. And once you get to the end of the movie, throughout all the journey, through all the war stuff, and even then, she learns of how to bring honor, and she finally does that. It's a satisfying story. It's really all about bringing honor to your family and making them proud. That's the whole film, and I love it. And the way that it became a Disney movie, I love it. So the story of this movie is phenomenal. Now let's talk about some characters. And I think the characters of this movie are also a great part of it. Of course, the character of Mulan is, of course, great. When she's introduced, of course, she is this girl teenager who, writes some notes on her arm so she can remember stuff. But her character is a little bit more simplistic, where she wants to bring honor to her family. It's like I said in the story, she wants to bring honor to her family, but she doesn't really like the way people are doing it, and she kind of messes up. And when she has really a full character arc throughout the entire movie, from where she goes and replaces her father in the army, and she makes her whole family proud when she defeats the villains and the Huns in the end. And it's completely triumphant and proud and triumphant. I love it. Beyond that, the newer characters in here with Yao and Ping, Ling and Shan Po, they're of course very comedic characters, and that's another thing. I'll talk about comedy in this video as well. And so the little side characters in here are great. Plus, we got Eddie Murphy as Mushu in here, which is another great character. All the characters in here are great. Even James Hong in here as the sort of officer that's writing all the notes down. And then of course you got Li Shan, who I thought was a great character. Was like he's this captain of this army, but you can tell that he's human, and so he gets excited about being the new army of the captain of the army. And so I thought the characters in here were very well written, but at the same time you also like them, but they also have character flaws as you go throughout the story. So I love the characters in this film. With that said, let's move on to the next parts of the film. Now, of course, as a Disney animated feature film, we have to talk about the animation. And really, the animation is pretty gorgeous. And it really continues what all these animated films have done since The Little Mermaid in the Renaissance, is that they're able to create these great animated films with great animation, with great hand-drawn animation in the way the characters are done, and the way fire is drawn, and the way smoke is drawn, and the way they put it on the screen. It's gorgeous, and this film really continues that, and I really enjoy it. So the animation, and plus the shots on the snowy mountains, pretty great. So this film continues that trend of great, beautiful animation in Disney. Speaking of animation, let's talk about the next part. That I think the way it's done as an animated film is the action sequences are very lively and they're very fun. But at the same time, they're also well choreographed. Usually we don't talk about action in animated films. I mean, you could talk about Spider-Verse, you could talk about Raya and the Last Dragon, you could talk about all these other movies, but Mulan actually has some as a 2D animated film, the action in this movie is actually a little bit more realistic, but it uses that animation wave in that same length. So I thought all the action in here, it's fun, but at the same time, it's also pretty intense. Excuse me. And I thought it was very fun. So I love the action in this movie, and you really have a lot of fun. And the way it's choreographed is also great. As a Disney animated film, we also have to talk about the music and the songs. The score, on the other hand, I thought the score for this movie was probably the most memorable. As I was watching the movie last night, and I was just listening, and I was just hearing the score, and the score is triumphant, it's badass, but it's most of it's triumphant, and I absolutely love the way they did the score in this movie. But even just talking as a Disney film, the songs are amazing. I mean, "Make a Man Out of You," "A Girl Worth Fighting For," "Please Bring Honor to Us All," the Reflection song. All the songs are portrayed in great lengths, but it continues that wavelength which started with The Little Mermaid, where the songs are there to convey what the characters are feeling and what exactly and how and the continuing of the story. And I really love that. Whereas like in Little Mermaid, you get actually let's not talk about Little Mermaid. We'll talk about that movie later. But with Mulan, like the Reflection song, she's explaining like, "Where is my reflection shown? Who I am inside." Like who am I inside? Please bring honor to us all. Like that's the establishment as to what Mulan's character is supposed to do. Make a man out of you, like the training song, and then a girl we're fighting for, like we're fighting for the perfect girl if we win. And all the songs, plus the songs are all catchy, and I pretty much sing to them all the time when I'm on my Disney road trips. So this is another great Disney movie soundtrack. And I think the last part we're going to talk about here is, of course, the comedy. And as a Disney film, it has that Disney comedy, but it really uses all the comedy bits, whether it's the side characters or the new character with Mushu. It's able to use like comedic values in all different ways, and especially with animation, it's done perfectly. So I love the comedy, and that's pretty much everything I have to say about Mulan. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff is in the about section over there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.